I want to tell you a story just like what we used to tell to other children when we were young. And the story is about the qimendunjia school. Chapter 1, May 13, The Birth of Dragon. My English is so terrible, so I can just let reading software help me read this story.
In an antique Chinese room had an unpleasant conversation. The conversation seems to be associated with a birth baby. What child it is to bring such an intense debate among a flock of adults even before its birth? A seemingly ordinary negotiation between masters of qimendunjia school is underway in the room with a plaque written Master's Office of Lubin Depart.
Miss Chang is about to give birth. If only the legend of Double Dragon won't happen.
A young man carrying a big sword on his back is pacing up and down.
None of us is aware about the meaning of the legend. Besides, the child born by Chang will not necessarily have the characteristics for the descendant of dragon.
Expressed slowly by a middle-aged man, with mustaches all over his face and a calabash hanging around his waist, sitting on an 8 immortal stool.
I have never doubted about the observing capacity of Master Ji. In my opinion, since the birth of Double Dragon will bring disasters to the world, the best solution is to avoid it from happening. That is to wipe out the uncertainty fundamentally.
Advocated by a man wearing white cloth and gown over the body with cold expression. What? You mean? He is only an unborn child. Whatever his father had done, it has nothing to do with it. Argued by a female wearing light green Chinese clothing who looked panicked and turned her eyes to Master Chu for assistance.
Lu Zai, none of us doubts about your teacher, Master Ji's observing capacity. But before he predicted the celestial phenomena showing the birth of Double Dragon, we had already made ready for that.
A granny with walking stick spoke in a slow but powerful tone with her eyes closed.
What if the disaster to be brought by him cannot be made up?
Lu Zai insisted. His idea and expression of unhappiness appeared on his cold face. A woman wearing light blue Chinese clothing near to Lu Zai dragged his sleeve inside. I'm also worried that the legend of Double Dragon might turn out to be as what Master Ji said. Moreover, for the disaster, how serious it would be. Will it be exterminatory?
Even if he would become a devil, we cannot make decisions of one's living or death for them. We must respect life. Isn't it the basis for the establishment of our school?
Argued by a thin and weak man with spectacles, carrying a big wood box. Lu Zai dismissed him and spoke in a discontent voice.
Indeed, letting him alive represents that we can make decision for his life. Then, what about the lives of thousands of people that might be taken for the disaster brought by him? Have you ever thought about that? Then who would make the decisions for their lives?
Then, how could you be sure that he will become a disaster? Said a woman wearing light green Chinese clothing, frowned.
My teacher will never.
Lu Zai is obviously impatient about this question.
Well, since the birth of Double Dragon has already been predicted, that is to say, none of us can stop it from happening. What we can do, then, is trying to cultivate him to be a righteous, kind, honest and promising man.
It is Ken Chang, the president of qimendunjia school, who is talking.
But, President,
it seems that Lu Zai was trying to say something. But President waved his hand to stop him and had a tea. Lu Zai, then, gave a moan and went out. In front of an antique store stands a young boy who looks like a doll. His skin is so white just like snow. His eyes is big and chin, and he has long eyelash, small but subtle and ruddy lips. His name is Xuan. The blazing sun is burning earth to iron feet. The leaves of tress on both sides of the street had become fade green due to exposure to the sunlight. Xuan was attracted by the scream for help from an antique store while his mother was buying the ice cream for him from the shop at the antique store side. "Help me! Someone tear off the charm from my head, please. Help!" Little Xuan walked into the shop and tried to source the sound from deep inside of the dark antique store. Taking a careful look, Xuan found the one who talked to him was a jade garland with a yellow charm attached on its head. Driven by curiosity, Xuan went to the garland and gazed at it. Then, without further considering, he tore off the charm. "Thank you, descendant of Double Dragon. I am a jade garland. Sooner or later, I will pay you back." The jade garland thanked Xuan by blinking. At this time, the shopkeeper of the antique store walks inside through the front door and asked,
"Hello there, whose kid are you? This little boy. Do not fumble around."
The shopkeeper is a black and fat guy with big belly. He swayed to Xuan. His little eyes blinky gazed at Xuan and his smile revealed two shining golden teeth. "I didn't fumble your stuff. I had just saved a jade garland in your shop." Xuan pointed to the jade garland who just screamed for help. As Xuan turned around to take a look at the jade garland again, there is no difference. But the garland no more blinked to him and is not as vivid as just now.
"Ha ha ha ha, my little friend, do you like it?"
Yeah, Xuan seemed very sincere, nodded his hand.
"Then ask your parents to buy it and you can save it."
"No, it just prayed me to tear off the things from his head and I have already saved him."
"What an imagination, my son."
Seeing Cheng coming hurriedly, he said with a smile,
"Is this your son? He would surely become a great writer with masterpieces."
Out of antique, Cheng said to Xuan, looking into his eyes with imposing expression,
"Do not prate on whatever comes into your mind."
"Why? I'm not chattering nonsense. Ma'am, I have just said what I have witnessed. I didn't lie."
"You didn't lie? Look, the guy just laughed at both you and me. He mocked me for I have raised a madman."
Cheng looked indifferent.